Okay. Well, trying to work this thing out here. I think I'm going. Make sure my sound is good. All right. Well, there was what I would say is a new update in regards to the Orrin and Orson West case. Doug from No Thanks, he happened to go around there and run into a neighbor that was outside, I guess, or something. I didn't really get all that. But what did transpire was an interview. And so Doug was able to interview this older couple that actually lives on the corner there of Aspen. If you imagine back to when you show Trezell going around the corner to look for the boys, Trezell passed right by these folks' house. So these folks, they stayed in the video that Doug does with them. States right in the video that one's come by and seen them. Now, you have to start asking yourself, in that situation, what does no one mean? Does no one mean no one of importance, or does it mean actually no one? Because this person, these people said that the police or no one has come by to talk to them or their neighbors or anything of the like. So, I ask myself why. Because in the beginning, you don't ever want to get involved in something and start saying, "Oh God, the police are crooked," or And so I've heard a lot of that, and with hearing a lot of that, also comes with myself not wanting to get involved in that because uh, yes, sir. Exposing unexposed. Yes, I will. Um, I will be available for that. I'm sorry, we've had power outages here, and internet and phones have been spotty. So anyhow, Doug, he gets these people to kind of open up, and again, kudos to Doug, and I'm for anybody that's for finding the boys. That's the number one concern, and I've never been about let's build a huge platform. So, and I don't knock anyone who has a huge platform and uses it for the betterment of this case, but um, I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of just have a think tank and kind of think out loud. So anybody that would like to jump in the description of I've put the link. So go ahead and jump on in. I invite all. Um, let's kind of chop it up. To remind everybody, if you do come in, I don't want to bash the West. I don't want to, try to expose their social security numbers or any of that stuff. That's not my aim. Um, and again, I don't have a huge platform, and I feel like the ones that kind of follow my platform are, the serious ones. Some of the serious followers, guys that and gals that have a really firm view of the details, and also combined with that, they're just not YouTube content makers. And I respect the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people out there around the world that are potentially following this case, just not creating content. So anyhow, um, the older couple there on the corner, they had they had a lot to say. And I found a lot of it very interesting because I haven't seen that older couple online, and I'm very, very up to date and current with with pretty much all the details that have happened up till today. I may miss things as they happen hour by hour, but I certainly make a point to catch up at the end of the day. Like I said, we've had the power outages here, and so it's been spotty. Um, so, um, yeah. Hey, Carol, we need you on 10 p.m. Texas time. Yes, sir. I will. These folks, they said that there just hasn't been anybody by to talk to them, and for that, I believe that now. And why do I believe that? I just don't think that those older folks are lying. I think that that it's a truthism. It's a truism that that these people haven't been approached by law enforcement, and I start to question why. Um, and inside of asking why is where the fun part comes in. So why would they not be asking these people about the White House in question? And anyone that hasn't been caught up today with what's transpired, there was a video put out by Doug, and he caught these people, and they told him that there was a White House. Anyone who hasn't been up to date, go over and check out Doug's video. It'll catch you up to date really quick. So there's a White House that initially AV went on the backside of Aspen, and he found this house that had all this junk and an old van and whatnot in the front yard. And everyone around at that time had said that it was just a junk house, But these older folks today, they actually commented that this house was occupied. The house was occupied, and it was occupied during. Now they weren't able to give much in the way of details about the West family themselves, although they did say that they hadn't seen any kids or any dogs, and I understand how that might happen, because I too have neighbors around me that if they just, I'm the guy that knows everybody, and that's just how I am around my way. And I kind of get that old man and his, and his old lady, they're kind of, they might be kind of up on what's going on. They might even, be gossipers or whatnot. But so, with that in mind, I think that they have a fair shake. They have a fair idea of what goes on right there on that corner, and everything, on the other side of the street. So the fact that she hasn't been approached by law enforcement and she has a bird's eye view, you have to question, is the lady lying? I do not feel that she's lying. I feel like she's being stone cold honest. I really do. I feel like we would know if there was something fishy going on as far as right there. That lady, like we would all know, like, oh yeah, she's the one that creates all the havoc and that gossips on everybody in the neighborhood, and that's just not what we've heard about this lady. And she seems to know quite an awful lot, and in her own words, even though she doesn't want to know it. Now, I know that there's some gray areas in there, and there's room for people to infer what they thought she meant. She could have been speaking on the house as a whole in general, or the last tenants, or the current tenants. She did state, however, that there was a skinny black male that that had came to get the mail a couple of times. Hold on. Carol says, I haven't seen my neighbors outside in over 45 days, so they hadn't lived there for very long. I dig it. I haven't seen my neighbors. Carol, do you live in Cal City? Question? Or are you just saying generically? But anyhow, I have a tendency to really believe to believe that lady, and that's a scary aspect that she, that they haven't been approached by any law enforcement. Not only that, but she's can speak, and I don't know how great, I mean, it's never safe in situations like this to let someone else speak for someone else. But she did say that they hadn't spoken with the neighbors either, and I'm not going to speak on the AV News. No, I'm just saying the West hadn't lived there very long. Well, so let's talk about that. They moved there, or else they, at least their interest changed in that property on September 9th or 10th. That's when the loan closed. So you can assume that shortly thereafter they were living there. So, from September to December 21st, that's still a fair jag of time for, things to happen. That's if you rest on one side believing that they didn't come to Bakersfield. Now, I couldn't help but notice that the older gal kind of threw a couple narratives together. She did say that they had never seen any children or any women or any animals, but then also alluded to the fact that this White House backed right up to, footsteps away, were her words, from the West Gate that they would have allegedly disappeared from. So I understand why we don't publicly know much about this White House, and you know, that doesn't mean that the people in the White House haven't been talked to or haven't been, pursued or being pursued. But I do think it's fair to say that if they haven't come and talked to the old gal on the corner there and her husband, that potentially, don't want to speculate, but potentially they have not spoken, they haven't spoken with anybody regarding that White House in the front too. And I'm going to try to do a little research as far as the auditor's website through Kern County or the state of California, and try to find out who actually possesses that home, because I was also told from somewhere that there could have been some squatters living there potentially. So Spivey. But remember, the previous neighbor said they were very private, even in the apartments. No, yeah, I dig it. I dig it. But you have to think about this, Spivey. In the apartments, uh, it we haven't heard anyone say that they heard, screaming or hollering, have we? Not that I remember. But you have to imagine this. Um, the the Cal City chief, he did his press conference in front of the Cal City House when he said that there was foul play. Um, so with that being said, um, I think that if it maybe it's a reach, but if there were foul play in in Bakersfield regarding Cal City, you see what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't go down like that. But Mary, hey, right after my neighbors moved in next door, they have 5 kids, and yes, I hear them and see. They run around and scream. That is just so weird. No kids seen there. They are just private people. Some neighbors are just nosy. Correct, Spivey. And I dig it, Mary Martins or Marlins Martins. I'm sorry. I get it, and that's what I want. My involvement with this case and this channel, particularly when it is in regards to the West Boys, that it be just kind of this non-biased zone where we can all kick rocks together and find out. I think that all things and any things are potential leads or details that need to be looked at. You just can't arrive at a place of bias and stay there very long, because overall, I think that it hurts the design of what an investigation is supposed to entail. There's formulas for it, and not even just detectives have to be great people persons, but there's also scientific formulas in the way in which detectives work, in the way in which they ask questions. Now, I do want to talk about the idea of the polygraph. And now the idea of the polygraph um, is, hey, Jeanette, the idea of the polygraph is awesome. Uh, but it's kind of like chiropractic when it comes, when it comes to regards of your insurance. Like they don't like to really stand on it as an exact science, although it can be helpful in some respects in a lot of cases. But what the polygraph, and I've taken two polygraphs. So in my experience, the polygraph was to rule me out as a suspect. It's seldom used as a tool to rule someone in as a suspect, um, because of the because of the variety in results in which we're not going to say it's 100 out of 100, right? So it's not used to rule people in because of the idea of false convictions. There could be biasm in the questions. There could be a lot of things that lead someone to believe that the answers have been coerced or manufactured in a way. So, love and respect the intent. Thank you, Spivey, very much. Thank you, Jeanette. So, polygraphs are typically used to rule people out. And that process is done privately. Now, where you might see a situation is if you're behind the scenes and you're able to correlate timelines where someone goes in for a polygraph and then exits as a suspect or a potential persons of interest. Um, then you have a different dynamic, but that hasn't happened here. So um, the fact that you would deny a polygraph doesn't clearly in Cal City make you a persons of interest or a suspect. That's if you believe they denied it. Now we have no way of knowing um, what the true implications of that are, because at some point, they have to protect the integrity of certain details, so it doesn't taint jury pools. Many medical conditions can mimic people lying. Absolutely. For sure. The fact, you could have used a narcotic the night before that could potentially have affected the outcome of your polygraph. Right on. I don't get Melissa H. I don't get it though. Why are the parents being held accountable for child neglect? Why aren't? When on a daily basis, parents are always held responsible for any type of situation that happens to your child. So that's Melissa H. Let me answer that. Um, that could be coming, sweetheart. That very well potentially could be coming. You have to look at the Daybells, right? So the Daybells aren't actually sitting in lockup right now for murder. They're for a lesser charge. Now that potentially could be based around any particular state's ability or inability to charge a particular case more than once. So, because there has to be more to the story. Absolutely, Spivey. There's always more to the story than the public is told, because look at what we're doing with what we have right now. We are completely molesting and pulling and torturing and, all of these verbs and adjectives. We're really tearing this thing a new one, right? Law enforcement can't give the public. Absolutely, Spivey. You hit the nail on the head. Like, you know, why would the West call the police if the web sleuthers could handle it as good as the police, right? There'd be this, there'd be this movement of missing kids that only were solved online, right? So I, at this point, believe that the situation is so messy um, that if potentially a YouTuber were to bring these children home, um, that would kind of look a little suspect, wouldn't it? I mean, it's. I don't know. You guys answer that. What do you guys think in the comments? Like, if a YouTuber brings these kids home, would you think that YouTuber was suspect, even if you followed that YouTuber's movement? Now, let me tell you this, guys. There are things to be divided about. And Jeanette, I'm going to get to you here in just a second. I want to finish this thought before I lose it. Um, there are things to be divided about. That's midterm politics. That's end of term politics. Um, all that in between. But when you're looking for missing little boys, and time is of the essence, either to return their remains to where they need to be, or bring these boys home. Um, that is not a time to be divided. There's no time for division, right? So imagine during the Vietnam War or during the Iraqi War or the Desert Storm Wars that we start to fight each other while we're fighting insurgents. What do we have, people? We have, what is that, right? Like, that's insane. You can't have, you can't be a movement that's at war with each other while you're trying to figure something out. It just, the mechanics and the physics, they don't work. They don't work. Jeanette, maybe some of these neighbors are scared to come forward with information. That's how some people are scared. Now, Jeanette, I get it. Go back and look. Did it look like these two? These two look like they wanted to be talked to by the police. Now, I can't answer for why maybe they haven't went to the police all on their own and said what they needed to say. I can't answer that. Maybe that will come out. Maybe it won't. But at any rate, I can't know that right now. Spivey, agree, absolutely. Mary, that would make the police look bad. Now, there are some people that are worried about what the police looks like. I don't care if the police are covered in cow shit and rolled in feathers when they bring these boys home. I don't care what it looks like. The mission has to be, it can't be what it looks like. And that's the issue that we've run into now, is that we have too many egos and too many, on the streets, we call it too many hands in the dope. Yeah. So I agree. That would make police look bad. That's an angle. If you have a lot of, so now, Mary, I don't want to completely disqualify what you're saying at all, sweetheart. I want to piggyback on it and go further with it by saying, yes, when particular departments have had a spotchy, kind of bad recent past, or a new administration, or maybe a new chief is trying to clean up what an old chief did, what it looks like starts to matter. Absolutely. I sure hope, and I couldn't say definitively, and actually now that I think about it, Mary, that's a strong point to make, at this point, especially for you to bring it to me at this point, and I kind of receive it how I have. It's like, I've heard it before. Other people have said it, but no, it could be potentially about what it might make the police look like. That's a good point. Now, again, I sure hope that that's not the issue. I believe a YouTuber will find justice before law enforcement. Melissa, I guess I'm a little bit torn. Now, if a YouTuber brings them home, God bless all of that. But I believe that we've moved into waters now where this YouTube could potentially be used as the tool that is dictating this investigation. And that's really sad that the social media has that power, to where, that the evolution of crime fighting has come to this. Now, I do want to say this, guys, not that I care, right on, Mary. Let me say this. Now, a lot of us have seen, these CSI, sort of crime shows, and I say that to say that when we see those, they do kind of indoctrinate how we think about law enforcement, right? We like to believe that when they pull up and they get their machine out and they scan the 360, that they have all the clues and they just immediately go in, and in 48 hours, which is like 17 minutes in between commercials, they get it done, right? It's not like that, guys. You could look at an investigation kind of like, you could look at an investigation kind of like a child or a plant or a dog. a pet of some sort, that you have to kind of feed it correctly. You have to protect it. You have to nourish it. You have to make sure that this thing isn't touched and tainted by hands that could take it the wrong way. Yes, Spivey. A lot of YouTube that is helping with this is losing sight on what we're doing. This is why they're not giving. You're exactly right. Instinct tells me not to believe either families about these boys. Carol, that would be where you need to be at. Don't believe anything, right? Leave everything up to suspect, and that way you don't make a wrong decision that can take you down a road where you waste a lot of time, right? Because time is of the essence, even in bringing the remains or bringing the boys home. Tina Monroy, my heart is broken over these boys' case. I can only pray that they are found and for the truth. Me too. I let me be honest with you. Let me go back to investigations. So they're progressive, right? And what that means is that they develop, so to speak. It's not over when they get there. It's just begun. And so what you're seeing in these return trips back and forth to the scene and to these different places is for a lot of different reasons. We've heard before to statistically collect data or statistical data collection. We've heard that terminology before. And so these revisits mean a lot of different things. There could just be some things they can't wrap their mind around as far as north, south, east, west, or they need to put their back, to this wall and then look left, and then they've got a different perspective on the way things looked at a certain time. Like, all of these things are perspective ideas as to why they keep returning. Not perspective ideas, because this is why they are returning. Now we can only speculate as to why they've taken other things or moving on from that. But Jeanette, she says it's like a puzzle. You got to put all the pieces together. It is, and granted that those puzzle pieces, all of them don't make themselves aware. They're not all apparent when you first walk on the scene. As other leads develop, this thing has a million tentacles, like a jellyfish, right? Like a man of war. There's the base situation, the disappearance, and then all these thousands of tentacles that hang down, all of them a different angle, a different lead, a different personality, a different set of details, a different theory. And so you have to, kind of first initially use your common sense. If there's some of us out here that had an umbrella but still got wet, we might be in the way. Get out from underneath the rain and get underneath of something. Get safe, right? Yeah. So all the puzzle pieces, as they walk through this thing, it's like today. Oh, now this White House that's just down from, they walk out, those boys can walk out of that gate and go straight down to that house, no problem, right? There was either squatters or people that left in a hurry. Now, again, this woman, she said these people disappeared. Right after she said, after the boys disappeared. Let me look at a couple of these comments. Spivey, I'm not blaming either side, but just because the AP is choosing to be silent doesn't mean they are guilty. They're being legally smart. Anything they can. Absolutely. And not even in the court of law, but in the court of public appeal, which is more detrimental right now because they could be completely innocent. And actually, they are completely innocent right now. They have seen no jury. They have seen no charges. They have seen no jail cell, right? So you have to presume he's innocent, right? And the other side is saying and doing a whole, which isn't smart legally. I think that they're, the way that the way that the Bio family is dealing with it is the way both families are dealing with it, you can't really gauge and put into a box how people are supposed to grieve, right? We've all been to the families where, or the funerals where, somebody's laughing and somebody's crying, and you can see why both things are happening at a very sad time, right? So I never got caught up on what they looked like, because what people try to look like online and in front of cameras are completely different than what where their heart really is a lot of times. Beagle Mama. I wish the police could be a little more transparent, but I understand why they aren't. Yeah, exactly, Beagle Mom. Because let's say an eco searcher that I had talked to said that there's the potential that in every case like this, or every case, that a dump site be an interim place where potentially they would have been put, thinking it was permanent. But then as the heat got hot and the internet started saying, "Oh, we're going to go search over in Hart Park, or we're going to go search in Central Park," they can hurry up and go move it real quick. So that's why they can't be as transparent as we would like them to be, if that makes sense. Melissa H at Spivey. I don't see the other side doing anything besides making the boys' names heard, which is still awareness. It's still a job somebody has to do, y'all. Beagle Mama. AP was probably told to keep their mouth shut. Absolutely. I also wanted to touch on something. Now, a lot of people, maybe it was early on, and I just want to take the opportunity to correct it now. There was a lot of people that early on chastised the West for their lack of involvement in the case, or in the search, rather. Um, that's protocol. That's protocol. There are a number of reasons why these people need to be kept right at the scene. Just, and I don't really have to expound too much more on that. I mean, it's just the way it is. So let's move on past that. Yes, they were. Yeah, I don't care either way. Either side is handling this. I don't either. And you want to know what, Beagle Mama? The reason it's being it looks this way is because of the social media, right? If you think back to other famous, like John Benet Ramsey, there wasn't this internet sleuth society that could really come in and, pardon my French, and you'll see I don't like to cuss a lot, but come in and really fuck it up, right? And that was fucked up all in its own design. So the internet has not helped any of these things. And in fact, there needs to be more people. And I don't want to pat my own shoulder, but I will take a moment to pat my own shoulder right here and say that I'm trying to preach and make the unbiased ideology about all things online, detective sleuth wise, keep them unbiased, because it's slowly, it's going to change law enforcement and our justice system. And that is what our forefathers built this country on. Moving on. It's a positive people that people speak out on the subject in order to keep the boys' case active, but throwing blame just isn't right. Spivey, you can't. Now, for those that don't know, I'm big on trying to keep investigations pure and whole and all of that good stuff. Now, with that being said, there's such a thing as jury tainting. And you will have to know that whomever was involved in this case will get a change of venue. I don't know where that change of venue will be. It could be up north, it could be down south, but that trial, if there comes to a criminal trial, that trial will not be held in Kern County. I assure you of that, and I would bet every one of you $1,000 right now. And good thing there's not too many of you. Mary Martins, but I heard a couple people watching them at all times. Hey, there's more than a couple people watching. We got drones and GoPros and trail cams. Man, it is the gauntlet of technological advancement in front of them and all around in people's shit, their houses rather. Um, Jeanette, if you come upon a crime scene, you don't want to get in the middle of it. You want to call someone, let that person know where it is and what you see, and stay there until they get there. That's correct, Jeanette. Amen. Let's hope so, Benny. Absolutely, sweetheart. It's probably, however, I don't understand what the Bio family is feeling. That's it, Tina. Occasionally online you'll see a footprint of me with the cuss word in it. I just don't. my mom watches some of this stuff, and I got to make her proud. So thank you. Beagle Mama, I don't know if the APs did anything because I don't have all of the facts, but from my limited vantage point, it doesn't look good for the West. Well, so Beagle Mom, that brings me back to what I was saying. Now, there are people that will never put a foot down on the soil searching for these boys, but will play a huge, integral role in this case. Those people are the jury, right? So there's a jury. It's called selection process, but go back a few videos of mine, and it's really inside behind the ballpark. They call it the jury rejection process. So what it is it's trying to get the most unbiased people based upon only gender and certain financial demographic. It can't be anything race related or even sexual preference related, right? So what they want to do is they want to find a natural pool of the most natural pool of people they can that will allow a clean judgment, right? A clean kill, so to speak. You don't want to have a nasty, messy trial, or you don't want to bring someone to trial and let them get away, right? So that integral role that somebody could play that never touched down is being a jury member. True? Right? When you're a jury member and whomever is involved in this, you and 11 other people could put that, whomever is involved, you could put them in the chair with the needle. That's the ultimate power in this. Okay? Don't be confused. The ultimate power is reserving your right to place judgment on whoever did this. If you're all online and you're all in people's comments with the bias, guess what? You cannot be that instrument of justice. You cannot. You fall short and in turn fail the boys critically for not being able to keep their killer or kidnapper or oppressor in the penitentiary or under that needle. Moving on. Stacy. Welcome, Stacy. We discussed the change of venue. It's definitely going to be. Absolutely, Stacy. There just is, and you might find a situation where the feds will pick this case up. I think that they've kind of already precursored us to see Fed involvement. And I think that that's probably chess in the way that this won't even probably, it might not even be held in state court. You can move this thing into a Fed court and move it wherever you wanted to and get a clean jury that way. And that may be an option. Beagle Mama, I agree, and I'm thankful I live in Colorado, not California, because that's a jury I would not want to be called to. Or have to sit in front of. There's a few of us. Hey, we are all one bad mistake from being in front of 12 people that could change our life, family. I'm telling you that, and best believe that. Which it limits the jury pool, right? And then you go against what your rights are, and that is to have a trial in front of 12 jury people of your peer, right? Moving on. Melissa H., your channel is so much more focused and calm compared to these other YouTubers. Thank you, Melissa H. Please subscribe and share. I just want to provide gasoline and fuel to a movement of people that can actually get things done and there be no bias. And guess what? Our movement can move in and out of cases and look classy. They would call upon us like, hey, it's the mound, right? The mound isn't just me. What's in a mound? Lots, a mound is all of us, right? All of us collectively. It's a collective, right? This is the mound, right? I mean, hey, look at us like ants. Ants can lift 50 times their weight. They can cut down whole trees, and they can survive through Holocaust. We are badasses. We're the mound.
I refuse to be Spivey. Thank you again, Melissa H. Spivey, with false allegations, information a person can't get. No, they can't.
And so that's where you start to see, cases have been shut right down and closed at the jury selection. If they can't get a clean jury, and it might affect the outcome or the prosecutor conviction rate, no, we're not gonna bring it. We're not gonna bring it.
I'm glad so much you're focused on what we need to be focused on. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you very much. Beagle Mama, I know that. Yeah. We can all agree to disagree while respect.
Absolutely, Spivey. I wish, and this is the thing. Iron sharpens iron. The only way, if your friends and your followers and your peers are solid and on the same levels, to challenge each other, right? You will never hear me cuss somebody out for holding a different opinion. Now, there are a few things I don't like. I don't like the idea. It is like an octopus. We can all agree to. I do not agree with the folks that have perpetrated any sort of criminal ordinance or broken a law while in pursuit of this, because that is just, how in the hell can we keep Bakersfield police on the scene looking for these boys or whatever they need to be doing if they're messing around looking for YouTubers that breaking into cars and they're the wrong ones trying to steal information. So YouTuber, whoever you were, whatever group, well, we know what group you were, whatever you were breaking in there to get, what did you think you were going to do with it? Did you think that you were going to steal some evidence from a disappearance during a car burglary? And then what? Take it to your private garage DNA kit? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're an idiot. You're a whole idiot. And you know what? You know how I prove you're an idiot? Somebody give me that man's cash app, and I'm gonna send him some money for being an idiot.
What the hell? It's unbelievable. I can't even. Moving on.
If you put yourself, listen, in the Bible, there were no degree to sin. There was no degree to sin. So, whether and I'm a firm believer of God all the way. That's why I try to watch my mouth. I try to lead my family how it should be led. I don't try to, I pray for all of you. I pray for Trezell and Jacqueline and Wanda and Philip and Josiah. I pray for all of them the same thing I want for my family. And that I want for anybody that's needy. I want that same thing for them. I want the same thing for Trezell that I want for myself. Right?
They did it on
Spivey. Come on, right? On live? You kidding me? Hey. Hey, this is my old Robert De Niro, Hey, you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. I mean, come on live. You got a clubhouse with a forensic lab in it? Boy. Yeah, Beagle Mama. I got some evidence for you I stole. I got my fingerprints all on it before I put it in this bag that I used to have meth in.
Carol, stealing evidence would have destroyed all the work done.
Oh, come on. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. Get your entire head out of your whole entire head.
You have it on.
No, Beagle. I got a criminal justice background. Now I'll put it out there. I'm a recovering addict. I've been a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things. I've been around the world once. I've seen the people twice, and I've been in front of these crooked juries. And I've seen how, first of all, I've seen how the criminal justice system treats someone with my color skin. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I don't feel like I have to objectify and subjectify myself by telling you what race I am or what creed I am, but I've seen how the criminal justice system does both in all colors, and it's just not nice, right? You'll fall into this niche where inside of that niche, has anyone ever been to traffic court and let's say had a person in front of you really pissed that judge off, and then when it comes down to your turn, boy, you really get the axe. Those sorts of things they play a part in all of this, and so personal opinions and egos, on and on and on and on, while a man or a woman and a man are trying to get a clean trial. You know what I'm saying? Spivey, thank you. That's great and valuable perspective. Thank you. Thank you. Been around the world once, seen the people. Yes, Melissa, I'm trying to tell you. Carol and I bet they're all from Texas because that's where I'm from. Hey, I know you guys all throughout your lives, you ever heard of somebody say they went on the run? Well, where'd they go? They went to Texas. Thank you, Stacy, very much. Thank you, Spivey. Thank you. I've been on the right track for shoot quite a long time, and with that being said, the complexities of real life, they start to merge back in. All the things you put out of your life when you were in a bad way, they start to merge back into your life, and then based upon the toolkit that you've collected during your time out, that dictates how you handle life when it comes at you. So there you go. Thank you very much, Melissa. Thank you. No, I can't. I refuse to. I have to stay. I apologize, y'all. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. That's I'm gonna keep it real. So and I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to just put it in everybody's face, but I didn't plan on being here this long. But Melissa H, what I've come to find is that you have to question. You have to start questioning people's aim and desire and motivation when somebody isn't cool with you collecting facts and information and stuff with everyone that's headed the same way. Why would that be? Ask yourself that. I don't know. Did you watch the judge today on Lori Vallow's case in Chaz? He's trying to say that he didn't get evidence when he got evidence, and he wants a cell phone in a jail. Jeanette, I didn't actually see anything today having to do with the boys. I'm currently in Dallas, Texas, and I'm using this time right now. We've had power outages for like 4 days. Like we want to go to a hotel, but it's just not even possible, so we're just kind of here, fighting through it. Just trying to make it right now. Thank you, Spivey. Thank you. Jeanette, I'll get caught up on what they had going on. But I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and get involved in another live, and then I'll jump back on here. And yes, Mary. Yes. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you. I just implore you guys to kind of just stay motivated, stay unbiased, stay in the lane of progression in everything factual and actual, ladies and gentlemen. Please, 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 please. And please like, share, and subscribe. And to all my day one people, thank you very much. I'm very blessed to have all of you over here where we try to stay unbiased. I kind of feel weird about this, but I've just been told it's part of the deal. If anyone would like to donate to the Cash App, that's my Cash App right there. Take it or leave it. I'm not worried about it. But if you'd like to see particular content, please tell me, and I'll touch on it. Now, again, my channel, I try to be as factual and actual, so I won't just make I just won't make a video about anything, but I will research it fully surgically and find out all I can about it. So thank you so much for joining in tonight. I hope that if I jump back on, I can get the rest of you to jump back on with me. Thank you, Mary.
We're going live.
Thank you very much, Spivey. I'm out of here, guys. Gotta go.